Good morning, good moed. Thanks for tuning into the Kehillat Shari Torah Halacha review and Sefirah to Omer count for Tuesday, March 30th. Today is the second day of the Omer. Hayom Shnei Yamim La Omer. Last year when we did the day-by-day Omer count online, we also had a little spiritual guide to that. For those who are interested or who might have missed it last year or would like to review it, not a bad idea. We'll try to make those available again on the website somehow or other. Stay tuned for updates. In the meantime, we'll go through a little day-by-day halachic review, and also we have a day-by-day, step-by-step guide, 49 days. This book is called Acquiring the Torah Step by Step by Rabbi Yosef Chaim Lanzer. If you'd like to follow along, you can get this in the local bookstores or from Mosaic Press, Feldheim. So we'll say one that parallels each day. Okay, more about that in a minute. For now, we'll just review in our halacha section. We'll do a little customs during Sefirah, some of the customs that are observed in various communities in various ways during this period of Sefirah to Omer. While we're counting the Omer, preparing ourselves for Kabbalat HaTorah, receiving the Torah on Mount Sinai, the Sinai experience at Shavuot, between counting 49 days, 7 complete weeks, from Pesach to Shavuot, it is a period of semi-mourning, as the book here, halachically speaking, will describe. So here's how he expresses it. The time from Pesach to Shavuot is a time of minimizing joy. However, many questions arise as to what are the reasons for this custom. Are there different minhagim? What is included? When can I get a haircut? Obviously a question at the top of everybody's mind. The reason for observing a semi-mourning state during Sefirah to Omer, during counting the Omer period, is because during Rabbi Akiva's times, 24,000 students, 12,000 pairs of Rabbi Akiva's students perished in a plague, which is discussed in the Talmud, in Ketubot, Tractate Ksubas. The reason for their demise is that they didn't show honor one to another, and there's some discussion about that. There were other things that occurred during this time as well. For example, Crusaders committed atrocities toward Jews during this time of year. Others say that the time between Pesach and Shavuos are days of judgment, so one should act in a serious manner. The Gemara and the main Rishonim who codify Halacha do not bring down the custom of refraining from these actions during Sefirah. The custom to refrain from certain activities, particularly showing joy and so on, celebration, started in the times of the Geonim, in the times of Babylonian exile in the 600s, 700s, 800s. When some poskim they discuss this, they say that in some places people do not take haircuts, and some do have the custom to refrain from making weddings. However, the accepted custom nowadays is amongst all of the Jewish peoples to refrain from these activities during the Sefirah. Okay, more on that later. In the interest of making each day count, of gleaning something worthwhile and insightful for each day, we'll go through this book, 49 Days, by Rabbi Lanzer, which is based on a Mishnah in Pirkei Avos, the 48 means of acquiring Torah, and using the last day of counting the Omer, Erev Shavuos, to review all of those. Day 1, which was the second day of Yom Tov for us here outside of Israel, is Talmud. I'll just read the first paragraph of what he writes there. He says that not surprisingly, the first way to acquire Torah is through learning it. Midrash Shmuel says that the way to ensure continuous learning is by constantly viewing oneself as needing to acquire full knowledge of Torah. This will implant a desire in one's heart to constantly learn and obtain new levels of Torah. Okay, speaks for itself. Day 2, which is where we are right now, the second quality that the Mishnah speaks about in Pirkei Avos is Shmias HaOzen, listening with one's ear. What exactly is being discussed? This point refers specifically to listening and learning Torah in an audio with your ears, in addition to studying Torah from a Sefer. So it's not enough just to open a Sefer and open a book and read it. You actually have to hear what's happening. Reb Chaim Volozhner in Ruach Chaim points out that Torah learning through listening makes a bigger impression than Torah learning through reading. Perhaps we can explain this insight with the following story. It's well known that even in ripe old age, various sages spent a tremendous amount of time preparing their shiurim in yeshiva. Once, one great Jewish leader, Rosh Yeshiva in Israel, once asked why this is necessary, meaning that most of the shiurim were already in print, Why couldn't Rosh Hashiva just repeat the same shir without going through the extreme effort of preparation? The response was, the correct way to teach Torah is from a Rav to a Talmud, from a teacher to a student. The Rav lives the sugya, and by sharing this live experience with the student, the Torah is able to penetrate the heart of the Talmud. If I would just read out what I wrote in my Sefirah, it would compromise the whole essence of learning from a Rav. In that case, it would be better for the student to learn from the Sefirah of previous authors who lived before me. Perhaps this is why Torah learning is done through listening. It makes a greater, and therefore makes a greater impression than by reading. When you listen to Torah being taught, one connects to and is part of a live, animate experience, which can have a very powerful effect. Okay, now we have a plus and a minus in our days, and that so much of our lives is virtual nowadays. However, that gives us a tremendous opportunity along with it. So on many sites across the internet, you can experience either recorded or even live real-time shiurim with many great Torah teachers of our age, even of previous ages. So when we hear it taught from the mouths of our teachers, that gives us a tremendous opportunity like they're talking about here. Okay, please tune in again tomorrow, and we will continue with counting and continue with learning. Have a good day. Good night.